What's up, what's up? Welcome back to the podcast. I hope everybody is doing great. Podcasting to be catching stride, which is good. You kind of do these things, I do anyways, and I know I'm putting myself out there, and I know it's different for a lot of people to even comprehend, but somebody's got to do it, might as well be me, and I'm super glad that everybody is taking well to it and sharing it and giving me great feedback on it. I really appreciate it, and I should get to our first shout out. Somebody that expressed some appreciation and support for the podcast most definitely is Scott Morris, and that's Arch City Sealcoating. So if you can use your melon a little bit, I imagine you know where he's from. Scott's been a friend of mine. I met him, NPE 2017 probably. And we were in a lot of different groups and things like that together, but it's always good when you got friends that back you for a long time and follow your content and really help you out with just support and sharing and everything. So once again, shout out Scott Morris. I need to thank our sponsors because they are coming in strong, and I know you guys have heard the ads at the beginning. That's how we're going to keep funding this thing and have giveaways and do events and all that stuff. So we should, patronize those guys too as well, because, that's how they do their thing. We're their customers, and for them to support us and do something like this with something new and fresh is greatly appreciated. So real quick, I just want to run through who we got for sponsors real quick. Stencil Plus, Raised on Blacktop brand, which you can see here on my sweater if you're watching online. Liberty Supply, US Pavement, which is the 800 Pavement Network. You guys know those numbers, right? And Rhino Works, you guys know all their melters, right? And if you haven't had a chance yet, check out the Blacktop Banter website. That's made by a guy named Jason. He has a company called 28 Circles. I made the website through a third party site, and he got a hold of me and said, hey, I think I can freshen that up for you. I was in the asphalt industry at one point, and now I do websites. Do you want to assist me in getting my name out there? He grabbed the website, freshened it up, and he's in charge of that sucker now for a while. So, check that out too. So those are our dudes. Speaking of Raised on Blacktop and what I have on in general, it's crazy change of events, as life goes on. I'm wearing a hat from Ring Lawn Care. If anyone follows my videos early on and things, back when it was Wiscoat days with me doing all the videos, everyone knows that I hung out with Brian Ring Lawn Care. I just got to give him a shout out from back in the day. I got that on. And then you got New School with Raised on Blacktop and American Pavement out there, all those boys, those brothers supporting the podcast too. So we've come a long way. We got a long way to go. And I just appreciate everybody's support, listeners, sponsors, people that share, people that rate our podcast, and people that give us reviews on our Facebook page. Anything you do, I'm not asking for any money in any way. Don't charge for anything for what we do here. But if you can share the podcast in any way, shape, or form, I would really appreciate that. So with that, I want to give back. And so do the sponsors. So we got a new giveaway. Real quick, I'm going to go through what we got. If you're watching on YouTube, you'll be able to see what we got. And if you're listening on the podcast, maybe go see what we got. But we have Blacktop Banter coffee mugs. That's going to be in the next giveaway. We got one of those right here. Stencil Plus sent over a beanie. So a beanie is going to be in the next giveaway. I'll also post a picture of all this to Instagram so you guys can check it out. Blacktop Banter sticker, going to be going in there. And the guys at Liberty Supply really stepped up. We got our first actual product. I'm holding a bunch of spray tips. You can hear them crunching. There they are in the video. They sent over their most popular spray tips to go along with the giveaway. So I'm excited for that. Everybody should be excited that. They also sent over a laser pointer, so that's going to go in there as well. So those guys stepped up. From what I understand from our newer sponsors as well, we're going to get some more stuff for the giveaways, and the giveaways are going to be bigger and better and actually stuff that we can use, in practicality. You know me, I'll run into some of those words sometimes. So that's what's up. Now I don't know if we're going to do a Wiscoat rundown, but with this, I wanted to talk about something that we encounter this time of year. The snow has almost all melted here. We're starting to get some rain. The weather's getting in the 50s. I see some guys out working, doing their thing, which is great. pause for a second. I got to take a drink of coffee. Anyways, everyone's out doing their thing, getting ready, getting moving, and I'm excited for that. We held over, and I don't know if this is, if everyone has this issue. Maybe some people wish they had this issue. We never used to have this issue, but it's a good issue to have, I guess, is we hold over work that we can't get to in the fall when the weather, as far as seal coating, when the weather impedes us from being able to continue because of the temperatures at night and the frost. And rustling those jobs back up, staying in contact with them over the winter is very important to me. And in springtime, they're on the first of our list. But also at the same time, we have repeat customers that we've had now, some of them for 16 years or so, and they're next. And then we have quite a few estimates to get out and do. I really like to wait until all the snow is gone. I can see the asphalt exposed for the most part before I go out and give new estimates. But we're encountering and taking on new things this year, as we will be doing some paving, and we will be doing some millings and things like that, and installing base and doing all kinds of anything we can as far as parking lot accessories, signs, bumpers, speed bumps, whatever. So we're taking on a lot, and that's how you grow. That's what we need to do to be full service. We want to be one-stop shop where we are, so we're taking on all that stuff. So that's a lot on my plate. We have the stuff we held over, our repeat customers, and new customers that we are looking to get going. It seems like I do a lot of estimating come the end of March and all the way through April, and even into early May, even when we start rolling. So the seal coat companies and plants usually start making material the end of April here. That's when the weather decides to allow us. And once that happens, the ball's in play. We've already probably filled some cracks by then. We've maybe packed some holes, maybe did some striping jobs already. But once seal coat hits, we're doing full service, everything, those jobs that we really need to do. And we have some larger ones on the plate at the beginning. So I really like to try to get all my estimates in, the majority of the estimates in, right away, right at the get-go. As soon as I can get those out of the way, the repeat customers, usually if they call and nothing has changed, or they email and nothing has changed, we know what they're looking at. Our customers have paid the same price now for years and years and years. I never raise the price on them. It's just what we do. It's how we keep them, and it has multiplied into more jobs over the year than I've ever could have imagined by word of mouth, and that being one of our staples at our company, is that the price never goes up, unless, barring that they want to add more asphalt or they need major patching done, but our regular service never does change. So that keeps us really good with our customer retention, and it also allows great closing rates on new customers because of our client base already. So that helps out as well. But as far as new estimate goes, what we end up doing is we'll get some calls, usually while there's still snow on the ground, which is crazy for us to have. It's happened the last 4 or 5 years, and it keeps going deeper into the winter. We had customers call in January asking to, be on our list and get an estimate for seal coating. And yes, we will most definitely get to you once the weather allows and once I can see the asphalt really good. I still go out and do a lot of foot to pavement estimates. Obviously, if it's a couple hours away and it's a commercial property, I'll use MeasureMat Pro, or take a look real quick on Google Earth to see what I'm looking at, and I'll try to get a rough estimate if they need one soon. But most of the time, I still try to get foot to pavement. It's not easy. I know it's logistically unsound, and efficiently it's not as great, but there's something about being there and knowing that maybe I'm trading giving them a real quick estimate for a real thorough and exact estimate. And that's a trade-off maybe. Some customers might look at that and say, well, this other company got us an estimate really fast. And they also might look at us and say, yeah, but they actually came and inspected and know what they're looking at and met them, and met us and explained to us. So, the coin has both sides there. There's two sides to that coin. And you just kind of have to pick a little bit and choose. And that's what we do with commercial properties. I probably do both. Sometimes, I'll send them an estimate, and then I'll go look too, just out of my own curiosity sometimes. But I just want to be sure. I want to be sure that we're bringing the most value that we can. So I still go out and do those. But as far as new estimates go, whether it's residential or commercial, so what happens is we will get a lead either through email, through a Facebook ad campaign, which we will be running one soon to start the spring here. Usually I try to run one. Sometimes I'll run, hashtag don't say Sometimes I run two, and if I run two, they'll be on different topics and different angles, and that's a whole different podcast, is Facebook ads. And I'm going to be finishing an article soon that hopefully we can get into your guys' hands. But what I end up doing is getting those calls, getting those leads in one way, shape, or form. We get those on paper so I can see them. They get onto our list. I compile that list, and then I create a route. Where we're very rural, and I have to create a route in order to be efficient, and sometimes it takes me days to get to some of these because of the route being so rural. It might be half an hour between each estimate, an hour, it really depends. But once I get all those rounded up, we get our estimates, we keep going. Those estimates then go into the finished estimate slot, which I know some of you have seen my file things that are on the wall in here. And then those are in limbo. So once they're in limbo, if we get the call, we'll create a work, or if they say, yeah, we want you to go ahead, we create a work order for those. And we do that digitally too as well. So we have paper and a digital database through a third-party program that I'm sure a lot of people I've seen in the groups use and talk about. And then we're all set. They're on the pile, they're ready to go. They go into the to-do list, into our green light, I guess you could say, list. And that stack stays there. It's like a assembly line. We get another call, it goes into that file, we keep going. So that's how I work our estimates. That's how I get from a call to getting them out there and getting going. The issue is that we're also trying to get trucks going. We're trying to talk to suppliers. I also make rounds visiting suppliers and price checking this time of year, things like that. So it all kind of encompasses the monotony of a daily thing, but also the hecticness of so many irons in the fire. But everyone's used to that, I believe, that I've spoke to in this industry. That's commonplace. And once you fight back all those fires and stomp them out, then we get into rhythm. And seems to be that once the later in the spring hits and the summer hits, the estimates keep coming, the requests for estimates, but it's not such an onslaught as it is right away. Excuse me. Once you deal with the heaviness of it right away, then you kind of get in rhythm. And maybe you work, sometimes what ends up happening is we'll go work, I'll bail, hashtag don't say I'll bail early, and I'll go do estimates while the guys finish up and bring the rigs home. Or if we have an early day, then I'll go do those estimates. Sometimes it runs late, sometimes we'll do a full day, I'll come home and I'll still have to do estimates. If it rains in between, I'm out giving estimates. I give a lot of estimates in the rain because I'm still out doing the labor too as well. And it is very important to me that I'm there and I see everything, and it just encompasses me at this point. And then all of a sudden your head starts to get above the water after you get all your estimates and get everything in order, and you're working, and you start seeing, rather than money going out as you start the season, you start to see some coming in and the tide shifts. But the main thing is trying to stay organized. And for us, luckily I've made that a priority as we've grown. And we're still small. Like I've said, we're still small, but we are growing at a good pace. And I have to make sure that we stay organized, because I don't want any customers, clients, calls, messages, anything to get shuffled in and lost in the fold. It's very important to me that we have a quick response. And that was brought to my attention by another contractor I seen on social media, is that the quick response is the main thing. So even if you can't get out there and give them the estimate directly after they call you, just respond real quick, whether it's with a phone call, whether it's messaging back. Usually what I try to do is use the same method that they use to generate a lead with us, you know, to contact us. I try to use that same method to contact them back. Now, if they message me and say, give me a call to set this up, then of course we call. If they say email, fine, then we email. But I usually try to keep it the same way. That's how your customers are comfortable most of the time. So we've had a lot of customers that I know do not like to call on the phone, but they like to message through Facebook. It's easier, it's less personal, it's safer as far as interaction wise, and some people prefer that. Other people prefer to call. They want to get to know you as the contractor, your company, everything. So you have to be flexible that way. Like Joe Dirt says, it's not about you, it's about the consumer. So that's what we're trying to do here, is make sure that we're keeping all these bites that we're having on these hooks that we throw out with our bait, that we have them on there and keep them on there. We want to finish the deal. You know, you want to secure that lead and make that a customer. And that's the best way that I can recommend to do it, is to keep them comfortable, because we are in an industry that can be uncomfortable, and that our customers maybe are uncomfortable to even take a shot at. We as contractors need to make them comfortable and keep them comfortable, and that's our priority here at Wiscoat. If anything is out of whack, I will stop everything immediately, ask the customer if there's anything wrong or what we can do, if they are comfortable, if there's any issues, because we don't want to proceed forward. If not, we have plenty of work, which is great. We're blessed that way. And we can do other work rather than create a headache for ourselves. It's just not worth it. We don't have to do that anymore. There were times when I had to do that, and you fight through it, and it ends up with a rough relationship between the customer and the contractor. And it might not be anything your fault. It could be experience before or however, and it brings up old feelings or whatever. Either way, you have to do your best to make sure they're comfortable. And I believe that starts right at the lead, and the way you handle that lead right away. Whether that's a residential customer and you're doing a minimum job price for because it's an approach way, or whether that's a shopping center and they want a lot of work done extensively, you have to carry them along and make them feel secure the whole way through. And it's very important, if you're looking to grow your company and keep customer retention, that even after the sale and after the work is finished, that you keep that relationship going and open. So we like to keep contact with all of our customers, whether it's a Christmas card or whether it's just a random email to say, how is your asphalt and how are you? However it is, we want to keep that contact going. And I believe that separates us from anybody else around here. And it's not that it's meant with, we want to keep them so we can make as much money off them as possible. It's, we want to keep them so that they stick with us and we know what goes on with that asphalt, and if there is any needs, they call us, because that's just how it should be. That's good for you, it's good for them. You both get what you're looking for, and you both get peace of mind. You know, I call it peace of mind because I don't have to worry too much about any of my customers that I know are repeat customers going anywhere. We're doing everything right. Now, if they've had experiences before and you create a new experience that is comfortable, they're probably going to stick around, because if they've had a rough go, they don't want to repeat that process. And if you've created an experience that's all new and feels very valuable, they're going to hang on. And that's what we try to do here. That's what's going to make your business grow and keep you there for the long haul, which we know is very difficult in this industry, to stick around for the long haul. So as far as lining up work, taking care of work that's been left over, all that stuff, that's my process. If you have any questions, you can always message me. You guys all know that. But that's what we're doing right now, and that's what we're up to, especially this month and early into next month. And I'm going to be creating some videos, so it's not always going to be videos of the podcast. We're going to have some reviews, product reviews, comparisons. And for years I've been asked to do videos about how we price out jobs, how we measure everything up. That is a very hard subject to pin down. All I can tell you is how I do it, where we are, and why my reasoning is for what square footage we do, price-wise, everything. That's a very different. Sealer costs different prices in other places. Different places have different asphalt that take sealer differently. The hashtag don't say the pavements are different. They require more things, different things. Sometimes we include crack sealing in the all-around price, and sometimes we don't. So it's variable by a lot of variables, I guess I'll say that. But we're just trying to make sure that we're getting our value, our worth for the work we're putting in, and the customer is getting the value for what they're paying for. That's the main thing. So we'll be looking forward to some of those as things get going. Actually going to go take a video here today about some asphalt getting crushed and turned into millings. So excited about that. Got to get some tanks taken off. I'm going to be buying a new rig. We're getting a seal right, which is great. It's going to be a 700-gallon unit. But I have two 500-gallon tanks that are on two flatbed trucks now. I'm going to be using the Duramax that everyone has seen for years to pull the new unit. So we're going to take that tank off. More than likely, I'm going to sell that tank and outfit, and I'm going to probably sell the other tank and outfit as well, and just have the 700-gallon seal right for now, as we are looking to get into a bulk tank very soon. If not this year, then next year for sure. And if I get rid of all those other tanks, it'll force me to do that. You know, there's a story about Cortez, who took over Central America, or at least tried to, and he had, sorry to go on a history lesson, but I'm just going to go that way, I guess. And his guys were planning a mutiny because they wanted to go back to Spain. They were planning to get on the ships in the morning and sail back, even though Cortez wanted to take over the Mayans. And Cortez caught wind of it, and he burned the ships. And the guy said, well, how are we going to get home now? He said, through those guys, and pointed towards the Mayans. So that's kind of what I'm going to do. I'm going to get rid of those tanks and sell them off, and not have that luxury of, you know, we have sealer here, we have 500 gallons here, we have 300 gallons there, and force myself to pull the trigger on a bulk tank. So that'll be the next thing we try to get into. We got a lot of things going on, but you got to play that game, and you got to take some risk to do some things. I got a good friend down in Louisiana that I've been talking to every week, owns an asphalt business, and that's what he does, man. He bites it off, and he says, I have no clue what I'm doing, but I'm getting in the right direction of what I believe we need to do, and that's what I need to do too. So I'm going to do that as well. So yeah, we'll take a video of getting those tanks off, and they'll sit there, and I'll get those things for sale. And we're going to record some podcasts this week. I'm going to be going to get that unit in Colorado the last week of March, so I'm going to try to record some podcasts before we get out there. It's going to be a little bit harder, I guess, to maybe post everything and do everything, but I'm bound and determined to find a way. So we're going to do that. And that's it. Once again, I want to thank everybody for the support, sharing the podcast, you know, talking and interacting with me. I love it. You can contact or talk to me any way, shape, or form. Did get a couple haters out there this week. Appreciate you guys too. Really do, really do. Keeps me going and helps me prove everybody wrong that wants me to fail. So I appreciate that. Appreciate you guys too. And once again, I really appreciate our sponsors. We got a few more coming down the line. I'm going to shorten those hashtag don't say ads at the beginning down to a minute each. Really try to compress those for you guys, but yet deliver the message that the sponsors want in there. And yeah, we're going to have a good time. We got a lot coming down the pipeline. I'm excited. You guys should be excited. You know, to give back to you guys for supporting the podcast, excuse me, we have made a bunch of stickers, Blacktop Banter stickers. If you message me on Instagram, and I'll post them to Instagram too. Screw it. So if you see them on Instagram, just message me through Instagram that you want a sticker and send your address, and we're going to send you one. Free, nothing. All I ask is that you get it and you take a picture of it, post it to your page or your wall or your Instagram or whatever, tag us, and that's it. You can have it. So I really appreciate that, guys, and I want to get back to you in that way. That's it for the podcast. We're up to 8. This is 8 episodes. I hope you enjoyed the previous ones. I hope you enjoyed the other contractors as well that are on there. We're going to get mixing it up here, so it's not just going to be contractors, but it's going to be icons and people within the asphalt industry, as we have some big partnerships coming up with our sponsors. We're going to get a peek into some of these things, all with encompassing our industry, not just seal coating, crack sealing, but paving, maybe concrete, maybe outside, landscape world, all that stuff that's going to help contractors within our industry. So I'm looking forward to that. As always, I want you guys to seal it. I want you to stripe it. I want you to pave it. And I definitely want you to kill it. Peace.